Everybody, I'm Dr. Christy Taylor, career and executive coach and founder of WORxK Solutions LLC. And we are back with our Prescription for Career Success podcast series. And over the next 21 days, we are focusing on the 21-day career pivot challenge. In this first episode, we are talking to federal employees as well as anyone who is in career transition. Today's episode is titled, "Is Being Let Go from Your Federal Job the Worst Thing in the World?" It can definitely feel like it if you are in career transition. And I completely understand because I have been there as well. We go into these federal jobs because we think that they are secure and that you'll never have to worry about layoffs. But here we are at a time where people are being laid off and there is a mass exodus out of the federal workforce. But the truth is any job really 100% secure? And while federal positions, they might have seemed like a safe bet, recent events suggest otherwise. For example, so far in 2025, the federal government has made significant workforce reductions across various agencies. The GSA, Public Building Service, laid off over 1,000 employees, and the Social Security Administration announced plans to cut 7,000 jobs. And again, this is something I've experienced personally myself. And so I completely understand about making career transitions and having to do it fast. Now, this is the reality. No job, whether in government or the private sector, is completely safe from cuts. And we see it happening with federal agencies, and we also see it happening in the private sector businesses. Job security, unfortunately, is more of an illusion. So we should never be getting comfortable. I always tell my clients, hey, you need to be looking at transferable skills. You need to be looking at always continue to evolve. You should have some type of side hustle, some type of business so that you can continue to move forward if things don't go the way that you plan. So what happens when you find yourself in a situation where you're let go? Is it really the worst thing in the world? And so that's what I'm going to kind of talk about today in terms of you being in this comfort zone trap is what I like to call it. And the comfort zone trap is when you're staying in a familiar role for too long. It feels safe, but it can also be detrimental to your career. And when you're in the safe position year after year, you stop challenging yourself, you stop learning new skills, and you stop growing. And so right now, it can feel overwhelming if you have put your heart and soul into a career. But again, like I said, none of this stuff is ever guaranteed. You should always be thinking and planning your next steps because a lot of us have fallen privy. I remember I was planning my year. I was planning, here's what I'm going to do. And then boom, I'm laid off. So I had to make a transition quick. Now, as somebody who has a background as a coach, as a resume writer, I was able to kind of identify, here's the direction that I want to go. But if you weren't always, if this is not something that you're always thinking about, that you're not always conscious of, you need to be sitting down and planning what your next steps look like. Now, the reality is that comfort often breeds stagnation. As much as we don't want to admit it, it's easy to stay in a role because it feels comfortable, but is it really helping you to evolve? And so for those of us who find ourselves right now in that transition phase, you should be challenging yourself to get to that next step. Whether you have to find a job in the immediate, but you should still be planning for long term. And I get it because it is difficult to manage your emotions. It's difficult to really see through the fog of war, but you can do this. Take a step back, assess your skills, plan your next steps. You know, staying too long in any position can prevent you from discovering your true potential. And what I'm finding the joy in this process is seeing people who had committed themselves to, I'm going to be here for 20 years or 30 years, and now that's no longer an opportunity. But these individuals are taking it upon themselves to say, you know what, I'm going to travel. I'm going to start that business. I'm going to bet on me. And so that's what I encourage you to do. Like I said, you know, staying too long in any position, it can prevent you from discovering your true potential. And whether that's gaining new skills or climbing up the corporate career ladder, even exploring different industries. And right now there's opportunity out there for you to maybe transition to a different industry, to start that business that you wanted to start, to take a shot on you. Now, am I living in reality? Of course I can, because I'm telling you, this is something that I've experienced. And getting a side hustle, looking at your finances, cutting out expenses. That's all a part of the process of you doing this transition. So I want to talk a little bit about embracing change. It's scary, especially when it's forced upon you. It wasn't something that you planned for. But let's be honest, when we talk about staying in your comfort zone, that's not going to get you anywhere either. And now you're in a position where you're kind of forced to change, right? So this is the reality. You have to embrace it, and you have to continue to move yourself ahead. I'm sure there'll be lawsuits. People will push back. But in the meantime, you still have to take care of you. So being let go, while it's tough, it can be a catalyst for change for you, because it's going to push you to look outside your current situation and explore new opportunities. And you can view it as a setback or as an opportunity to grow. And in the midst of trying to manage your emotions, you might view it as both. But what matters is how you decide to see it so that you can push yourself forward. Think about this. If you stay stuck in a job that you've outgrown, you're denying yourself the opportunity to pursue new challenges, and that could propel your career forward. And by stepping out of your comfort zone, you open doors to new experiences and growth. There are certain principles in the universe where the universe is going to give back to us the work that we put into it, right? And it might not seem like it in the immediate, but long term, that is going to pay off. One of the coaches I like to listen to says, work is always working. It's either working for you or against you. So here's the thing. Assessing your career trajectory is crucial. If you're stuck in a role that no longer excites you or challenges you, if the answer is yes, then it's time to ask yourself what's next. And then if you find yourself in a situation where you are stagnating, it's time to reassess your career goals and make a change before you are forced into one. And then if you're already in the midst of change, if you have been forced into this situation, now is the perfect time to take that first step with a growth-oriented mindset. And I talk a lot about this in my upcoming book on the prescription for career success. Change is uncomfortable. Yes, it is, but also the key to growth. When you face a challenge head on, you develop the resilience needed to succeed in any industry. And for so many of us who did this work, it defined such a core part of our life because it was the stability that we counted on. But here we are now, having to face transition. And really, the thing is, if you can't control the external, if you can't control all of the forces, if you can't control all of the dynamics in place, what can you control? You control you. So here's what I encourage you to do. Instead of seeing being let go as the worst thing in the world, realize that it could be the best thing for you. It's an opportunity for you to refocus, realign your goals, and take control of your career. So let's wrap this up. No, being let go from your federal job doesn't have to be the worst thing in the world. It definitely feels like it. I get it. In fact, it could be one of those things that really pushes you to step out of your comfort zone and embrace new career opportunities. And so my encouragement to you is just to assess your current trajectory, embrace change, because it's not something that in this moment that's going to change, right? If you've been forced out of your job, you're going to have to look for a new job to take care of yourself. So you're going to have to, in this moment, this is the reality that we're facing. And you're going to have to adopt a growth mindset and use this setback as a stepping stone to move forward towards a more fulfilling career, to find whether it's a new challenge for you, a new business, a new space. Don't be afraid to take that next step, okay? What I challenge you to do is write down 3 things you're really passionate about and look at your transferable skills, and is this something that you can pursue? Now, if you're looking to take that next step in your career and you want some one-on-one support, my calendar is going to be in the description box. Feel free to set up a free consultation. Additionally, I want to invite you to the Prescription for Career Success 2-day summit at the end of April 26th and 27th. And if you're in a position where you have to take that next step, we have 18 coaches who are going to be there talking about mindset, taking that next step in your career. And if you're ready to take control of your career and make a real pivot, keep listening, because over the next 21 days, we are going to be sharing tips just like this to keep you motivated, to keep you focused. So until next time, remember to elevate your mindset, elevate your career, and you can have the power to be the prescription for change in your own life. Have a great day.